a relationship, independent of any kind of relationship, has two effects on us. It's either the relationship will break you or make you. Good afternoon, winning people. Welcome again to another beautiful video. This is Dan, and you're here with me for the Infinite Winners Relay channel. If you're new to this channel, please I ask that you like the video if you love yourself, subscribe, just so that helps with the algorithm on the YouTube platform, and also it's very great content that actually want to expand their mental space and actually help themselves grow and develop as humans. As you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about the importance of a relationship. And now, like, when we talk about relationship, we're not categorizing them, we're talking from a general standpoint. And so the major takeoff I want you guys to take off with is understanding like the history of relationship, like where the roots, the source of where that relationship actually came from, and how it's actually identified with humanity. And also, the types of relationship that we experience on the day-to-day life. Because most of us don't understand the power of relationship with people. So to be clear, we're humans, and as human beings, we are imperfect beings. God is the only perfection to humanity. Of course, certain kind of relationship we have might not actually come as we intend. However, the recovery process is what matters. That's why this channel is an open platform to talk. I really love the comment from you guys. Share your thoughts about the video, and then let's get into it. First and foremost, let's talk about the history of a relationship. So there's an order in which relationship actually help to humanity. We're not talking about humanity, we're talking about every living entity, every living being on earth. So we're talking about anything that has breath in them. So the first trend is actually the creation of humans. I'm talking about, Bible believing person. However, so that's a relationship between God and man. So the godly kind of relationship between God and man. And that involved the creation of human. When I say human, I'm talking about H-U-M-A-N, and not woman, W-O-M-A-N. Talking about human, H-U-M-A-N. You get it? So that kind of thought pattern that went into our maker's mindset to actually create us. That is like the first kind of relation that actually happened on earth. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the first kind of relation that happened. The creation of man from God. That's the first kind. And that kind of relationship actually plays a part in the fundamental of how we think, how we act. So very important first notion of relationship to humans. The second kind of relationship that actually began from that part was the creation of a woman. So there was a relationship that God actually saw and felt like, listen, man cannot live alone. So he created a woman, but from the ribs of a man. What am I saying in essence? What I'm saying is God saw that in order for a man to exist on earth, loneliness was not an exception. He wanted man to have a union. He wanted man to be happy. He wanted man to have it all. You get it? And God knew that having a man exist alone on a platform or on the surface of the earth would help. That is why God actually created a woman. But guess what? There were two kind of relationships that happened in the creation of a woman. One, with the creation of a woman from God, and two, that companionship that happened when God actually created a woman from the ribs of a man. So there were two kind of, so we're looking at like, it's more like a transactional relationship right here, to put in context. However, that was like, the framework of it. So you've seen like how every one of us that exists as human beings, how certain kind of relationships shape us to be. And that is the reason why you see like certain people go around, man, woman, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, romantic. So this relationship, I'm just trying to tell you like the history behind kind of relationship. And the third kind of trend that happened from that union was another relationship between man and woman. And that has to be with union. Union has to be with coming together between a man and a woman's species. I'm not saying a husband and a wife here. A man and a woman's species. So building that love, building that bond, building that connection, building that virtue. That was the next kind of relationship that was forged from the trend, you get it, of relationship to humanity. And that also applied to how every one of us exists on earth. Which brings me to the fourth type, and that is the relationship between a mother and her child. So there is the relationship between God and man, relationship between God and woman, relationship between man and woman, and then the relationship between a woman and her child. You get it? There's a lot that goes on with, the period in which that child actually exists in the womb. The kind of food she eat, the kind of food she drink, the kind of activities she plays, certain kind of things. That's why people are very careful with what they do when they're pregnant, because the relationship you're building with that child is very, very important. So that's just the history of relationship, and that is why relationship actually exists in the society. We can't run away from, because based on history and based on creation of humans and living beings, those certain products were already in place, so we can't run away from it. So those are the four frontier of the path, and the heritage of relationship born to humanity. Now we're going to talk about what type of relationship actually plays a role in our life as people and why they are important. The first kind of relationship I feel like I always like to talk about, as I said, I'm a Bible believing person. Everybody is different, and this is not religion. This is not religion. Religion is different. So the first kind of relationship is that relationship with God. And when I say God, to you, God can be anything. To me, I know God. God is my supreme being. As a Christian, see God as Jesus, the Son of God. That is my God. That is the supreme being. That is the person I call in time of, trouble, when I can't control certain things, right? I look up to Him. I pray. You get it? So that is my God. So the kind of relationship I build with Him, from either a spiritual standpoint, emotional standpoint, mental standpoint, that virtue shapes who I am and how I become as a person. You might have that kind of relationship, but I actually encourage you to think about it. It's not a must, however, it will help you become a better person over time. So that's the first kind. So there's a godly relationship with a man and God. And then the second kind of relationship I feel like exists within us is the family relationship. And the family relationship, it doesn't matter if it's a broken family, it doesn't matter if it's a union family, but there's a relationship there. A relationship between a man, a husband and his wife, a relationship between a man and a woman, a relationship between the child and the father, a relationship between the child and the mother. That's in a family standpoint. So this also applies to a rural relationship, you get it, extended relationship. So that family standpoint, because the family has a very, very strong role in actually development of a child or a person. Family plays a strong role. So the parental governance, the kind of advice they give, the exposure to the society, the certain things you say around the child, So from a family standpoint, are you guys picking up the reason why relationships are very, very mandatory? Like, it's very important to identify these kind of relationships, because they actually serve as building blocks to who we are and actually how we become successful in our life. The next type of relationship that I actually love is the societal kind of relationship we have. I'm going to talk about the social standpoint. Social standpoint has to do with the advantages and disadvantages a society adds to us. So I'm talking about the values that we get from society. In our society, we have living conditions, where we live, you get it? Transportation, education, work-related places. So those are building blocks. So the kind of relationship we have in all these places plays a part of what we actually become. So we have to be mindful of the kind of people we associate ourselves with. We have to be mindful of the kind of people we actually accommodate in our space, because the society, we cannot eliminate the society from us. We just have to be able to shift. We have to filter certain things in order to actually get the best out of society. So that's the second type of relationship that we actually have in the space. And the third type of relationship I know that's very important to us is a cultural form of relationship. And culture is very different from society, because society is more from a bigger standpoint, exposure to the society. But culture is more like streamlined. Culture actually identifies us as individuals in a given group or in a given environment. So this has to do with like your ethnicity, either in a Latino community, in a Black American community, an African setting, in a Hispanic setting, in a white setting. So those are like cultural mandates that actually dwells within us, and that then we get to figure out what kind of relationship we have with this. And also the language you speak within this cultural platform. You get it? The language actually plays a strong identifier in the kind of relationship we accommodate within our space. So culture plays a big role. And guess what? Culture actually has to do with people. Just so you know, when you think about relation, think about people you are associated with yourself with, either in a cultural standpoint, as I said, or on a social standpoint, or even in a family standpoint. So that plays a big role. You get it? And then type of relationship I want us to consider on a more bigger standpoint, and that has to do with public space. Public space has to do with the government, the law and order order in the given society. You get it? I'm talking about our policemen. You get it? The armies, the navy, the security guards. So these are public space kind of relationship, and it's very essential we understand that the relationship we actually have with these people can actually help make or break us as persons. It's very important to actually put this in mind. Some of us don't actually have great relationship with the office people. However, I understand sometimes action and reaction actually play a role in this. However, you have to be able to like find a way to actually understand that these people, in as much as they are in an official space, they are humans too, and they are people. So I know there are a lot of things that plays the power of situation, you know, the power of authority, a lot of factors come to play. However, try and actually streamline to the purpose of that union, and which is building a strong relationship with these people. So public space plays a very big role. The last type of relationship I really want to touch on, which I've not really seen people talk about, people don't understand that this actually is, because we're in the 21st century and a lot of things are moving into the technology phase. And this is the kind of relationship we have on the internet. And when I talk about internet, I'm talking about the social media, you get it? Either on the media, any form of communication that comes virtually, whereby you can see somebody but you're not actually being around the person. It's not a one-on-one relationship in person. However, there is a barrier. The barrier is that you guys cannot see in person. However, you guys can video chat us. The internet can be a building block for you, and also can be a falling pathway for you too. So you have to be very mindful of the kind of relationship we have on the internet. There are a lot of things that happen on the internet, you know. We have bullying, we have certain like sexual expressions, we have a lot of crazy stuff that happen, but also we have beautiful things that happen. You know, people get to meet people actually fall in love, people get to actually grow, people get to associate with others, people that have compatibilities get to meet, people that have differences get to embrace their differences and grow from there. So the internet is a very broad, however, it actually is a relationship medium for people to exist. So certain takeoffs I want guys to understand from this video is that a relationship, independent of any kind of relationship, has two effects on us. It's either the relationship will break you or make you. But the good news is certain relationships that break you don't end you. When I mean end you, I'm talking about like, you know, you're not dead. You get it? There's hope. There's always hope. So you also have to have an open mind to understand that there's always hope at the end of the tunnel. That is why this channel we won't talk about winning, the winning, infinite winning. I'm not talking about physically, no. I'm talking about the mental state, how you win mentally, the way you think, your action, your reaction, the way you process information, the way you talk to people, the way you embrace people in the environment, starting from yourself, self-love, what you like, what you embrace. So the winning is a winning mentality. The winning mentality will take you far. Either in the business, either in school, either even in the religion, the winning mentality will always take you through. So I just want you to understand that having a relationship is pivotal. It's very, very essential as humans. And we need to be able to embrace this fact. Yet, from the business standpoint, which is also part of the public space, in the workplace, part of the societal standpoint, there are these types of relationships that exist that we cannot fight it. However, we have the power to initiate who ignites such relationship with people. Once again, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for gracing me with your presence. I really appreciate your feedback. Comment down below what you think about this video. Please comment down below what you want me to talk about next. You get it? As you know, Infinite Winners Relate. This is a channel where we talk, we express ourselves, but we win it mentally, because that's the goal. We want to win mentally. Talk about everything that's the relationship, whether romantic relationship, dating, divorce, marriage. We're going to talk about them in this particular channel. But I really want you to come with an open mind. You don't have to take everything I say. However, it will be great if you apply it to certain things you do. Once again, thanks for joining me. Stay tuned to the next video. Keep winning, guys. Thanks.